The following podcast is brought to you by Iconic Nation Media. Over the last several months, so many of you have reached out to me and shared that you have a dream of launching your very own podcast. However, you feel stuck, overwhelmed, and don't know where to begin. My team has helped launch dreamers into thriving podcasters just like you. And the best part is now you don't have to do it alone. That's exactly why I created the Podcast Launch Academy, to give you a clear, step-by-step roadmap to go from dreaming about your podcast to launching it with confidence. If you want to learn more about the Podcast Launch Academy, go to kimberlylovi.com/podcast academy. That's kimberlylovi.com/podcast academy. The very first 10 people to sign up get over 50% off. The course launches in February of 2025. I take you through step by step, and I'll show you how to launch your show with ease, and I'll share more about the Podcast Launch Academy with you. Save your seat at kimberlylovi.com/podcast academy. I can't wait to see you there. Welcome to Season 5 of Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Lovi. I'm here to guide you on a journey of personal growth and fulfillment. Join me as we delve into the challenges of both business and personal life, aiming to discover our true selves and connect more deeply with the world around us. On this podcast, we'll explore the topics that inspire and empower us to become the best version of ourselves. From book reviews to interviews with iconic individuals, we'll have insightful conversations that resonate with your journey. And a big thank you to our sponsors, the Boys and Girls Club of America, Greater Neho Valley, and Lovey's Deli for supporting the show and helping us bring these valuable discussions to you. Please share, rate, and review the podcast. And thank you so much for listening. You can also leave your comments at Kimberly Lovi on social media. Thank you for your feedback and thank you for listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. For those of you that are new, my name is Kimberly Lovi, and I am so happy to get to meet you and to have you here with us today. Today, I'm joined by two very special ladies, Joy Smith and Mara Rice, and they are from the company Savvy Travel Mamas, and they teach us how to leverage our credit card points to get free or severely discounted vacations. Now, I don't know about you guys, but lately in the last couple of years, travel has gotten so expensive to the point where we haven't really traveled that much because it's just a fortune. And I got really candid with them and asked them for all the tips. And can I tell you something? Do you know the second I hung up with them after recording this podcast, guess what I did? Booked my vacation to Deer Valley at the St. Regis, honey, using my points. I had no idea I could do that. They walk you through step by step so that you too can go on a fabulous 5-star vacation for free. Okay, so get your notepads and make sure that you listen up so that you too can have a wonderful vacation with your family. And please enjoy this episode, share it with your friends, and rate us 5 stars if you get a chance. We appreciate you. With that, let's dive into this week's episode. You guys, welcome to my podcast. I have Joy Smith and Mara Rice on the podcast. Joy and Mara, thank you so much for joining me. I am so happy to have both of you guys here because selfishly, I have a lot of questions for you. How are you feeling today?
Good. We're so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yes, it's my pleasure. So, okay, these two, this is a mother-daughter duo, okay? And they are experts on travel, all things travel, and most importantly, how to hack the system. And that's what all of us need to know because let me tell you, nowadays, I am not kidding. Our family is dying to go on a vacation. We're a family of 5. It is a fortune. It is just so expensive. And I don't know how people do it. So any tips you guys have, we're all ears. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your business and what you guys do?
Yeah, so we run a site called Savvy Travel Mamas, and we teach people how to navigate the world of credit card rewards to be able to redeem your points for nearly free travel. So, what that means is whenever you learn how to maximize your credit card rewards, we teach you all the inside tricks on making your points turn into free flights for the cost of taxes or free hotel stays. And it changes your life.
Okay, that's exactly what I can say I need. And I am very bad at this. Very bad at this. I know, look, I'm just gonna talk to you like I'm sure there's many more savvy people out there on this, but I'm gonna talk to you like a complete beginner because that's really what I am on this. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm very confused about how to even use my points. Aside from maybe now and again, back in the day, I used to like have my Amex points for work be converted to gift cards. I don't know that I've ever really used my points for travel ever.
You are not alone. A lot of people don't know, or else they don't know how to fully get the most value out of it. Mom is an expert. I'll let her talk here in a minute. She's been doing this for over 25 years, like before the internet existed, when the only way to learn how to do it was good old phone calls. She would be on the phone and with airlines and hotels, and that's how she learned, is just by picking up the phone way, way, way back in the day. Now it's quite a bit easier for us. We just download our app to our credit card and we can easily redeem our points right there in front of us. So things have changed quite a bit throughout the years.
Okay, Mara, how did you even know to start having those conversations so early on? Because that is clearly outside of the norm. How did you even get that instinct?
Well, my husband he was a president of a national organization and he had to go to meetings all over the place. So he would fly and he was gaining all these points and miles, but I didn't know anything about it. All I knew is that he would take us somewhere every now and then and he would just use the miles for it. But he never did it. He always had a travel agent or someone to take care of it. And I remember when that came to an end, I got to thinking about it. Okay, so there must be some miles out there or something that we can use. And he said yes. And I just got on the phone and I did not know it was travel hacking. I just knew that there were some points or some miles or some kind of something out there that we could use. And so I picked up the phone and I remember the day I called American Airlines and I said, look, I've got this number of points and I want to go as far from St. Louis as I can go for two people on this amount of points. And they said, oh, well, let's see, you could go to Trinidad. I said, I've never heard of that place. It doesn't sound very good to me. And they said, well, no, I take it back. Yeah, that's what it was, Trinidad. Yeah. And I said, no, it doesn't sound very good. And then they said, well, how about Barbados? And I said, I like the sound of that. I don't know where it is, and I've never heard of it either, but I like the sound of it. So they booked us 2 round-trip tickets to Barbados, and I just kind of started playing with things to figure it out, one thing at a time, and finally got hooked onto it and realized that I could generate more for myself. And I made a lot of mistakes with finding credit cards, not knowing what to do, and there weren't really any rules back then. You just kind of did it willy-nilly, and what worked and what didn't work. So I learned made a lot of mistakes in the early days and eventually got it around to a formula that I could understand, that realizing that once you had points, you had to try to maximize them to get the biggest bang for every buck, so to speak, that you could. And then that there were more where those came from. So you could just kind of rinse and repeat. That's what we do.
I love that. And it makes me giggle too. But you definitely had obviously a spot on instinct. So what are some of the biggest and best credit cards or programs that we should all be signed up for that we are completely missing out on? Because I'm pretty sure I'm the one missing the boat. I'm the bad student here.
So there's, when you look at the world of credit cards, there's really like three different types of like buckets that your credit cards fall in. The first one is co-branded, which we all know what they are. We just may not know the term. It's like your Hilton hotel credit cards, your Marriott credit cards, your Delta, your American, your credit cards that are aligned specifically with that brand, and then all the points that you earn you can redeem for hotel nights or flights. So those are great cards to have, but even better than that are what we call our flexible reward credit cards. And what these mean, you mentioned American Express earlier. So there are the four main banks, which are Chase, Citi, American Express, and Capital One. And within those families, they have a handful of credit cards that earn what we call flexible rewards. And those flexible rewards, if you get a brand new American Express and it comes with let's just say you get the American Express Gold, and it comes with a welcome offer of, I don't know what it is right now, but 100,000 points, just throwing that out there. You can take those 100,000 points once you meet the minimum spend for your welcome offer. And then there's a piece on it called transfer to partner. So when you go to redeem your points, you learn to transfer to partner. And then that is the key right there, because your points then instantly turn into Hilton, Marriott, Delta, and a whole list of hotels and airlines. And you can transfer as many or as little as you need to be able to book the trip that you want.
Okay. Okay. So I have a question.
Go for it.
What is the best of all the different card types? What is the one that everyone must have? The one that you're like, you have to have this one and you're totally missing it if you're not.
That is such a tough question. So I would say there's actually three. Our first number one is always going to be the Chase Sapphire Preferred, because Chase Ultimate Rewards, are one of the most valuable. They have 18 transfer partners that you can turn them into global transfer partners. So like example, I just took my Chase Ultimate Rewards and turned them into 3 flights to Europe for $69 and 54,000 points. Because I transferred them to Virgin Atlantic Airways, which is a, British-based airline. The next one, oh, go ahead. The next one is going to be Capital One, the Capital One Venture or Venture X. Their miles are also incredibly valuable. It's one of the easiest cards because you earn 2% back on every purchase, so you don't have to think about, oh gosh, do I need to use this at a restaurant or do I need to use this as a grocery store? Where am I going to earn the most? It's just a flat earning rate. The Capital One Venture is probably the more user-friendly card. And then the third one is going to be the American Express Gold. So that's another great starter card where if you're just spending your groceries and eating out, you're going to earn 4% back. So you're automatically going to earn way more points on those cards on your everyday expenses. And the key is your everyday expenses. We don't want to overspend. It's just turning your everyday expenses into your dream vacations.
I love the sound of that. I'm already sold. I'm ready to sign up. So now, can you clarify something for me? When you are signed up and a credit card says we give 2% back, cash back, or whatever it doesn't matter the number. Can you then somehow turn that cash back into points, or is it one or the other?
It totally depends upon the card. Some of them are cash back, but some of them are also transferable, and you get more value with the transfer. Okay, let me give an example. There was a credit card that we took out several years ago, and the sign up bonus on it was 80,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards once you meet the minimum spend. So I met that minimum spend. We took those 80,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards. We could have turned those in for like $800 or $825, or gotten a little bit more money for it if we just wanted to play it against a bill or do something with it like that. But when I took those 80,000 points and transferred them over directly to a partner airline, my husband and I took a trip directly from the U.S. over to New Delhi, India, in business class, laid out comfortably all the way with gourmet meals for that same 80,000 points. And had we purchased that, it would have been $8,000. Now, would you rather spend that $800, 80,000 points, and get 800 or 850 or $25? Or would you rather have a trip that's about $8,000?
Yeah, I'm taking that trip. I want to go lay down on my way to India. That sounds
There
fabulous.
you go.
Okay, so that's great. So what about the Amex Platinum? Where does that sit in all this? Do you guys know?
They're a great card. Now, depending on who you talk to in this world, they're all going to give you a different answer because we all have our own favorite cards that we work with and we really like. From a beginner perspective, the Amex Platinum would not be the first card I would get. It is one to get to earn the sign up bonus, but it's not one that you really want to use for everyday expenses just because you don't earn as much. So the Amex Gold, if I'm out at the grocery store and I choose to pay with my American Express Gold, I'm going to earn 4 points for every dollar that I spend at the grocery store. So if I spend $100 at the grocery store, I'm earning $400 American Express membership rewards. I can then take those membership rewards and I can cash them out on Amazon. I can cash them out as a statement credit. I can pretty much do anything I want with those 400 rewards that I just earned. And that's why they're flexible, because you can use them in a variety of ways. The most valuable, though, is going to be able to put them towards a transfer to partner and apply them towards a flight or a hotel stay.
Okay, well, I'm going to go downgrade to a gold now. I mean, that really is great to know.
Now, don't downgrade. The platinum's a good one because it gets you status and it has a lot of perks. So
Yeah.
you'll want to look at your perks too and make sure you're using the benefits of it.
So since you just said that, one of the perks that I appreciate, especially now traveling with kids, but even just without kids, honestly, like having the lounge access is helpful, especially if you have a layover or your flight goes wrong and you have somewhere to hang out and sleep and in some cases shower. Yeah, so that's been great. We actually were at a concert. We went to see Mariah Carey, my husband and I. He was less, and it was at the Hollywood Bowl, an iconic venue. And we were walking in, and to the left, there was a smaller line kind of off to the side from the main entrance. And it was just a sea of people. The venue holds 19,000 people. And I'm like, oh, what is this for? Like, we didn't understand what the Amex, it said like Amex, platinum line or something. Well, we realized, oh, it's a special entrance and it'll shortcut. So we went in, it had its separate bar. It was almost like a little mini lounge, and it was so unexpected and really kind of expedited our entrance, which was really nice. So those little perks can definitely go a long way. You talk a little bit about using your points for hotels versus flights. Like, do you typically use your points more on the flight side or hotels, or kind of a combo of both?
It just depends upon what your desire is, where you want to go, what kind of trip you're planning. Sometimes I like to just go for a fancy hotel if I'm just going to be a short drive away or something. Other times I want to stay in something like a timeshare that we own, but I want to spend the points on a fancy trip getting there. I want to get there and comfortable. My husband used to be very nervous when we would go to the airport at first, because he would know that we were paying very little and nothing but, maybe $5.60 or just a little bit of money in taxes, and that we were going to be flying business or first class. And he would keep thinking, okay, this is uncomfortable. This is not right. We would go to the airport and he would honestly be afraid that he might get arrested. And it really took several trips before he realized, no, this is okay. This is legit. I can stand up and be like a normal person. They don't know that I'm not paying for this. They just know we're getting on here. And they treat us just like they treat everybody else. And sometimes they treat us even better because we do it a lot more. So,
And that his wife is a genius, by the way. Side note, let's not forget that little fine point, because clearly you are. That's so great. Okay, so you can really use it for hotels or for flights. Like, there's not really one or the other that you tend to use it for, or there's no more value one or the other. Just totally depends.
It's all about your travel goals and what you're getting your points for. Like, there are people like my mom who earn their points and want to maximize the value, so wherever she needs them more, she's going to use them. Then there are people like me who, when I first started, my goal was to just take my kids to go visit family and friends that we don't get to see very often. So we didn't need them on hotels because our best friends moved to Charleston, so we flew to Charleston and go stay with them and visit them, or my in-laws live far away. So it's just a matter of however you want to use it and what the trip that you want to take, what your needs are.
Okay.
Any redemption is a good redemption because you're saving money.
I like that rule. And I'm sure my husband likes that rule too, by the way. And okay, so then what would be like a good, how do I know if it's like a good value? Because you talked about $1 could be great on the Amex Gold and you could receive 4 points for every dollar spent. Like, what is an average conversion that you would hope to receive? And what would be like a really good one?
I'll let you take this one.
No, you can't always compare apples to apples because every hotel point or every airline point is not equal to the same value. So you have to kind of get into that groove of knowing where to search to find out the value of those particular ones so that you can make each one of them count. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but it's just a matter of figuring out. And that's where we come in with the Savvy Travel Mamas and the travel course that we're teaching, the information that we put out that helps you to understand how to get your best redemptions, and not just how to earn them, but how to spend them as well. Because there's no point in earning them if you're not going to spend them wisely.
Yes. Okay.
I like to give this example, if I may.
Yeah.
The average person, like a lot of my neighbors and friends, they have these great travel cards because they've been told they're the best cards to have, right?
Yeah.
And they get them, they earn the sign-up bonus, they spend on them, they put everything on them for a year or two, and then they finally earn enough points to be able to take a vacation. Well, then what they do is they take all their points and they call up the travel agency on that credit card. So, like you would call American Express Travel and you'd try to book it there. Well, what happens is when you call the travel agency and you redeem your points, you're going to basically be redeeming them on average at 1 cent per dollar. So if you have 100,000 points, the math is 100,000 points equals $1,000
Okay. Gotcha.
in cash value.
And so then what are we supposed to do?
So your points are going to stretch a lot farther.
So what you're saying is don't call your Amex Platinum desk, as helpful and amazing as they are. Rather, go into your portal and find the transfer partner option in there on the website within your account.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that. I would have been the one to call and be like, I'm here to redeem my points. So you get way less value when you call in and have them help you at the credit card company.
Typically, every now and then you might get someone who will tell you, well, here's what I do with mine. So when I call in and ask questions like that, I say, well, what would you do to get the max value out of these for you redeeming them? And then sometimes they'll fill you in on the beans, but most
Oh,
of
that's
the
so good.
time, especially there's so many that are transferred to foreign countries and stuff for people to answer all your questions, and they don't understand a lot of that. So you're better off, like with the course that we teach, that you're learning how to do that for yourself to be your own travel agent for maximum redemptions.
Wow. That's
So,
great.
yeah.
I might be signing up for your course, but that's a separate discussion. I'm getting real tempted right now because I feel like that's like a steal of a value. That's great. Okay. So really what you're saying is, just to recap, that is, if you are someone that is ready to start booking a trip, do not pick up the phone and call the credit card company to help you assist you, unless maybe you're going to call them and see what tips they can give you. But rather, it's better to go into your actual credit card, account online, find the transfer partner. Is it ever called something different, by the way, other than transfer?
I
Transfer
think
to
it's
partner?
always transfer to partner in all four of them.
Okay. Okay. So go in and find that hot button, transfer to partner, and then you can go see all your different options.
Right. Right.
Okay. Okay, great. And when you do that, is it going to show you the value in dollars? Like, for example, if I'm just making this up, 400,000 Amex points, I'm in my Amex portal, I go to transfer to partner, and then it's saying, oh, okay, I find American Airlines, and it says, like, I guess what happens next? Do you book the flight and it starts do you start getting into the actual flights, or how does that kind of work next?
You don't transfer anything to a partner until you have searched it out, you know where you want to go, and you know how you want to go with your best deal. Let's just say you want to go on British Airways. You don't want to transfer everything to British Airways because then you're stuck. You can't pull them back and take them somewhere else. Don't transfer any of your points or your miles anywhere until you know that there is availability on the exact flights that you want in the accommodations that you want, and it's the best value that you want for your money. Okay. Then you're going to be able to go back and transfer those partners. Like if I was doing a United, going from Chase Ultimate Rewards, I can literally find that ticket on the United website. And if I'm a few miles short, I can literally on the same open another screen and go into my Chase Ultimate Rewards. I can transfer my Chase Ultimate Rewards the exact amount that I need, transfer them immediately to United, log in, log out. My miles are there. I can book it. Boom.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So then that's really helpful. Thank you for that, Mara. So basically you would first go to your partner, your preferred partner, your airline, your hotel. You'd kind of scope out everything that you want to get. Then you'd go back into your credit card portal, make the transfer for only the exact amount you need. Because if you overdo it, then you're in trouble and you just wasted a bunch of points or you're stuck having them sit there. What happens if you are just short? Let's just pretend that I want a flight with United and I have 100,000 points. And then I go in and it requires 105,000 points. You then typically, when you're doing this, can you then go to United and then pay the extra $160 or whatever, the incremental difference? Is that what happens?
They will give you the option to buy those few miles that you need. They're going to be expensive to buy them, but at that point, when you're so close, it's better to go ahead and buy them. One thing that I would always advise not doing when you're purchasing a ticket, it doesn't matter if you're purchasing it on points or if you're purchasing it on cash. They will always give you this option at the end. Well, if you take this credit card, you can save $100 or whatever. Never, 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 never do that because they're not going to give you nearly as much as you could get by finding that credit card through another site that would give you more of a sign-on bonus. And another thing is, don't ever buy your insurance there because that insurance might only pertain to that one particular aspect of your overall trip. You need to go to a different place for your insurance for your trip. And that's puts it all together, and that's when you can really navigate your trip as a seamless thing to make it best value and give you the confidence that you'll have, all your bases covered.
Oh, that's great. Now, you just mentioned something that is another big question that nobody talks about. So I'm so glad you mentioned the insurance, because everyone hears the word insurance and their brain shuts down, or at least if they're like me.
Yeah.
But ever since COVID, I haven't really invested in trip insurance. Is that something we should be doing? Yes or no? And if so, or like maybe it's sometimes. And so when is it appropriate to purchase travel insurance and what are your preferred vendors for that?
Personally, because we're the Medicare age, we don't worry about trip insurance when we're traveling within the United States. But anytime we're traveling abroad, we always go ahead and purchase insurance for it because you never know. And we've had several times where it's played out that we've been able to cash in on that insurance and it's saved us a lot of money for that. We like to go to www.squaremouth.com. And when you put in all of your parameters of your trip, your expenses, your dates, your ages, your state, and all of those, they will pollinate for you a variety of insurance options with different companies. And you can choose which is going to be best for your trip. And that way you've got your bases covered, whether you are, in your 70s like us or in your 40s or 50s or 60s, whatever you are, you can get it that's going to be best for you and your circumstances.
And we have an affiliate link for that on our site. Yes, for Square Mouth. We have an affiliate link.
For Square Mouth? Okay. I'm going to that right after this. And there's something about it. I don't know why, but I'm just not totally comfortable. It's like one of those purchases where you're like, is this a scam or should I get it? So it's helpful that you said, really the international trips are really a good move. And then like part of me thinks like, do they really pay you or do they really cover and insure your trip? Like, I don't know, something about it makes me like uneasy because I just haven't experienced it, but they'll cover it. So like, for example, if you for any reason can't go on your trip, then what happens? Do they refund you typically? Or how does that even work? Like, what do you get back?
Okay. It all depends upon your trip and it all depends upon your circumstances. I know years ago we were taking a trip. My mother was taking us to the Holy Land. She was paying for the trip And I said, well, Mom, we're going to take out insurance. And, oh, honey, we don't need it. I said, no, Mom, you're doing the trip for us. We are going to take out insurance and we are going to purchase insurance on you. And we're thinking she's the one that's going to need it because she's up in her 80s at the time. Well, guess who gets sick? My husband got sick on the airplane going over there. He ends up in Tel Aviv at the ambulance service there in Tel Aviv into the hospital area in the airport, then going by ambulance to the Tel Aviv hospital, spending the night there. And we had a very high deductible on our normal insurance back home. Well, that insurance was met immediately. The insurance kicked in, and we ended up getting thousands of dollars back that we would have been out of pocket for had we not taken out insurance.
Wow.
It pays off. You get the right insurance and it pays off. And we've had that to pay off a number of times.
Wow.
Now, I want to add in, so there's the health insurance aspect that Mom has talked about here.
Right.
And then there's a trip insurance aspect. So in our course that we're launching in January, this is like a rabbit hole topic that we could talk about for a while. But in our course that we're launching in January, one of the bonuses on it that we'll include will be knowing your rights as a traveler in insurance. So we're going to go into like what to do if your trip gets canceled, what to do if your luggage gets lost, how to make sure you're protected from a health insurance perspective, and give all those details because depending if you're in the United States, if you're overseas, what credit card you booked your trip on, there's so many different variable factors on how and where you're going to be covered.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you're doing this course because it's a lot of details of all of this stuff.
There is so many details, that is for sure. And it's the base of it, it's 4 simple steps, right? You know your credit, you know your budget so you don't overspend. You get your card, you meet your minimum spend and you transfer your points. And then you repeat. That's really it at the basic level, but then there's a lot of action steps involved in each one of those, and that's why we're doing the course because it's something that it's a hobby that takes time to develop, but once you do, it will change your life.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I used to travel for work for like a decade. Okay. So I was used to all the perks and all the things. And the second I ended that job, it hurt. And I realized I have to buy my way into staff again because man, it just, so yes, I know when you have these perks and rewards or status and you really know how to work it, it really is transformative in terms of your experience. I mean, it's no joke. And it saves you thousands and thousands of dollars, which is just incredible because I don't know why. And maybe you guys have insight on this, but like, I don't know if it was just since COVID or maybe because we keep having kids, but I don't remember travel being this exorbitant. I really don't. It feels like, okay, here's an example. I literally went to book, this is 2 years ago now, because I'm still traumatized and recovering. I went to book a trip to Hawaii. Now we live in LA. So I've been to Hawaii many times. It's not that big of a trip. I mean, yes, it's a big trip, but it's not like we're going, to Europe. It's 5-6 hours, right? So it's kind of like a standard trip that folks take with their families here. I start booking up the rooms and we're staying at, the nice family friendly places, right? The Grand Wailea, very nice, not the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons, but very, very nice, family friendly. I start booking, 2 rooms because we got all these kids and all this stuff. By the end of it, do you know how much the woman told me it was going to be? Because I'm on the phone with Amex. You know what she said? $30,000. And I went to her, I said, US dollars? Like, what are you talking about? I'm so confused. I'm not going to, the Sistine Chapel. I'm so confused. So it's become exorbitant. And I honestly, we kind of stopped traveling because it's so outrageous. Is that just how it is now? Has it calmed down?
It's still pretty crazy. So when we started this, I had Mom go through because she tracks every trip. So once she books a trip, she has a tracker and she writes down how much she spent in cash for like taxes or whatever. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit, how many points she used, and then she'll go and she'll recreate that booking online and see what the actual cash price is. So she's been tracking only since, what was it, Mom, 2015?
like
So
that.
only for 9 years she's been tracking her numbers. But granted, she started this in the 90s. So from 2015 to now, her savings was well over $300,000. And we estimate that she's saved a total of $500,000 or more over the past 25 years of doing this. And they've done everything. Like you list a bucket list trip, my mom can tell you about it.
Well, and so that's the real value is like it's immeasurable. And we all know this. It's immeasurable to have these experiences. So it's like the $500,000 that you saved obviously is such a big deal. But the reality is like you enabled yourself, your friends, your family to have all of these experiences that like right now I'm saying no to because I'm like, I'm not going to go on a cute little $20,000 trip with my 8, 7, and 2-year-old. Like, first of all, it's exhausting, but it's just who has money for that? So I mean that's really something. So you quantified that and documented it. That is truly amazing.
When you, like, speaking of the Grand Wailea, okay?
Yeah.
When you have the right credit cards and you know how to feed into them from different ones and you use the partner methods that we teach and all that, you get you build up your points. And when you can stay at the Grand Wailea for a week on points, then you avoid paying the extra fees that they give. And depending on the card you have, like if you're a diamond, then you get all these extra freebies with it. So we actually stayed at the Grand Wailea for a week in an upgraded room with the credit for, the meals and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'm leaving my family. I'm coming with you guys. Where are we headed this winter? Because I'm so sold on this.
Jamaica. We just booked a trip to Jamaica yesterday.
All right. That's fantastic. Wow. I know. And well, so that's since we are, the season is upon us, the travel season, here in winter that we've got going on in the United States. Is it too late to start booking? Because I haven't booked our trip because, again, the expense is overwhelming. But I really do want to have some fun experience with my family.
Are you looking for like a Christmas trip or just something in the winter?
Anywhere outside of my house is perfectly acceptable.
So that is a great question. If you were to start today and get, I know you have the platinum. What I would do is suggest getting a new card to complement it because the welcome offer is where the real bonus comes from. Earning that welcome offer is how you get that huge amount of points. And we teach how to build a credit card strategy that lasts. That you never run out of credit cards, but you responsibly sign up for new ones. So, if you were to start today and get a new credit card, you could very well have enough points within 90 days to book your family vacation. So, we're running right now a holiday spending challenge where we walk through ways to maximize your earnings on all the extra expenses that you have right now. You can sign up for it on our page, on our link tree, and we give you 5 days worth of easy, actionable tips on just reminding you like which credit card to use at the grocery store, and we give you a list of the best credit cards, and you may already have some of those in your wallet. We tell you like how to shop, how to find the best return on your investment, like which shopping portals to use because some are super overwhelming. And so we go through 5 days, and then if you are paying for travel, we tell you the best way to pay for travel so that you can earn the most amount of points so that that spring break trip can really be something that you do for free or nearly free.
That sounds great. Will you guys adopt me?
Come on over.
I feel like you're the family to be with, man. Oh, wow. Okay. So I have a couple other more like some other questions. Okay. So can I combine me and my husband's, like if we both have our Amex and it's the same card, but just issued, he has his, I have mine, right? So, I can see it in my portal. Can we combine our points?
On American Express, no. But if you have multiple cards in your name that earn membership rewards, yes. Now, in Capital One, you can combine within a household or a family. And on Chase, you can combine as well.
Okay. So it depends on the card. Good to know.
On the bank, yeah.
Yeah,
And we
on the bank.
teach all those things.
Are there any specific hotel chains, specifically luxury hotels, ideally, that you tend to like or that work well with points or have a good conversion? Anything on the hotel side of the house?
Just tell me where we're going, okay? And we're going to Montego Bay, Jamaica. Hilton has a wonderful all-inclusive family resort there. It's excellent. If you tried to book that right now, you would have to, even if you had the points, you would be able to do nothing in January, February, maybe even March, unless it was a premium room, which means you're going to be paying more for it. But if you book early, then you can get into their standard rooms. And if you have status with them, like the right credit card or whatever, you can be upgraded. So there are some good ones out there, but you just need to plan ahead and book early before they start changing the rates higher.
Okay.
So there's two. There's like the Hilton, which is definitely more luxury. They also have Hampton. Those are great options.
Right.
Our second favorite option is Hyatt hotels, just because the redemption value on Hyatt is really, really great. Like I just went to Atlanta 2 weeks ago with my family, and it only cost me 9,000 points per night, and we stayed right across the street from the Georgia Aquarium. And we're right there, but World of Coca-Cola, Olympic Park, like we were able to walk everywhere we wanted to go, and we only had to pay for our valet parking. And that was a Hyatt Place, but those are larger rooms because you have the two beds and the sleeper sofa, so it's great for larger families.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay, so for those of us that have, failed on planning our winter trip, what are a couple places that you recommend?
Well, right now, Southwest has a winter sale. It does expire on the 21st, though, so by the time you put this out, it'll be expired. But for you, Southwest always has really great deals, and they run a lot of last minute deals. So I would watch for Southwest to see what you can do. There's always going to be deals. There's a lot of sites that put out free deals, too. Not free deals, but give you like last minute deals that you can chase to if you want to go skiing or wherever you want to go.
Okay, great. Oh, I'll look out for that. And then what about sporting events or concerts or anything like that? Do you ever use your points for those types of, activities outside of hotel and airfare, or it's not really worth it?
I just
I'd rather
value
use
those
it on
points and
travel.
miles. I value them so much that I want to see and go as much as I can. So I always transfer them to partners, going with the high end flights with the business class or hotels. There are some good events, like you said, sports events that you can do. It just depends upon what's of value to you.
Okay, so you can use it on those if you
Oh, yeah.
wanted. Like, for
Yeah,
example, let's just pretend that your
yeah,
husband is obsessed with the football team and they're making the Super Bowl and he's dying to go, but it's $1 million or whatever for a ticket.
yeah.
I don't think I'd let my husband do that and spend points, but I'm just, for those different families out there, you never know.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
There's a lot of people in the points of miles world, or a lot of people that I know that ended up using them for like Taylor Swift tickets overseas, or else they paid for their Taylor Swift tickets and then used their points of miles because it was cheaper to go overseas and watch her. A lot of people do redeem them for Disney vacations. So you can use them for Disney pretty easily. There's a lot of information and guides out there. Once again, that's not one of my personal preferences. I love me some Mickey and Minnie in Disney World, but points go much farther to Europe than they do to Disney World.
Okay, good to know. This has been really wonderful, Joy and Mara. Can you just state where is the best way to connect with you guys if they want to connect deeper with you?
On Instagram, our handle is at Savvy Travel Mamas, S as in Sam, AVVY Travel Mamas, MAMAS. So that's going to be the best way. We have our link in our bio, which takes you straight to our link tree, which you can get our free guide. It's a beginner's guide that walks you through the basics of it. You can sign up for that Square Mouth insurance. That's where our affiliate links are, credit card links, all the things that you would want are listed there.
That is fantastic. Okay, well, thank you all so much for all of this insight. I'm going to hang up and I'm going to start booking a trip right now. So, so thank you. This was wonderful. We'll talk to you guys again soon. All right. That is it for today. Thank you very much for listening, and be sure to follow us at Iconic Nation Media and send us a direct message and comment on some of our posts so that we can hear your feedback and incorporate them into our show. We appreciate you listening, and we look forward to catching you next week.